Hello once again, and welcome back to the most disturbing channels on YouTube, and today it's going to be episode number... I'll figure it out later on. This series is basically a spin-off series of YouTube Unsolved, in which series we go through the deepest mysteries of YouTube. So, of course, today, as usual, we're going to be going through 3 out of YouTube's most disturbing channels. I've actually been told that this series is even more life-changing and psychologically scarring than the main series it's inspired. So, that's really good. And I'm glad that I can provide such a good impact to people, but also I should clarify that these 3 channels are not going to be in any particular order. They're basically just all in one package, so you can enjoy them as they are, and hopefully not get too bad of nightmares afterwards. But you're going to. So just letting you know. So let's just jump straight to the point, starting with number 1. Caving with Tom. This channel made videos about exploring caves, and the title just may have given you a hint about that. To boil it all down, what this person was doing was just pretty much playing Minecraft. But in real life. And not in Minecraft. And in this update, or this version, there wasn't a building height limit, or I guess I should say depth limit, which very well may have contributed to the whole mystery behind this, and what happened to this guy. Tom only did things in real life in terms of videos. Now, each one of his videos were generally the same type of style each and every single time. You'd see about an hour long for every single one, and it was usually just covering different locations and different caves, and Tom was also known to talk about his own personal life and do videos revolving around his family as well, which kind of just takes away from any possibility of the whole thing just being an elaborate let-on, or setup, in any case, because, well, this person very well demonstrated that they had an ordinary life outside of their little video hobby of filming themselves going into extremely dark, treacherous, unexplored, dangerous caves. Now, this channel ended up kind of similar to another channel that we covered in another episode of Disturbing Channels on YouTube. I think it was actually the very first episode of this series. As a matter of fact, it's the very thumbnail of the first episode of this series. So that's something I probably should remember. Larry Sycamore is another channel which got kind of some recognition after apparently he got lost at sea for 45 days or something like that. But this channel really just rings that bell all over again, because Caving with Tom ended up no longer making videos after a certain point. But this point was after a particular video that they uploaded called Kentucky Cave Mammoth, which is presumed to be revolving around a cave called Mammoth Cave in Kentucky. Now, this cave is notorious for being very unexplored and extremely dangerous. In terms of its danger level, it could be compared to how they rank mountain slides or mountain slopes based off of their difficulty in skiing. So this would be probably like a triple-decker black diamond or something like that. There are certain portions of this cave that literally weren't explored because they were just sheer cliffs straight down, and basically the whole entire thing was just made out of jagged rocks that no one in their right mind would actually want to go near, let alone be inside of. And there's no lighting, and there's no nothing, except a lot of bats. This was the last video on his channel that was under this normal style. He then went on to upload a bunch of out-of-context clips that were really short in comparison. They weren't an hour long, and they went by the names of MVI336 to MVI345, all with different clips and uploaded over the course of a couple of days, so not all at once. And they all shared in the videos that you could actually see lighting, they all shared the same semblance to each other, so it is presumed that they were filmed in the same place, the Mammoth Cave in Kentucky. And in most of them, the audio was really glitched out and you couldn't really hear anything, but there was a whole lot of them where you could also hear a whole bunch of stuff, and that also leads to the scariest aspect of this particular thing, because in one of the clips, in between MVI 335 and MVI 345, there was a sound that was heard in the distant background, which was like a screeching sound, which seemed to be something that you'd never really heard before, and from what people could tell, wasn't really of any animal that should ever exist at all, ever. I really hope that that was some kind of new cave sound that they added in, because if it's not, well, I personally would pee my pants right there in that moment. And speaking about peeing your pants, we have sponsored and themed YouTube Unsolved Adult Diapers that you can go and check out in the merch section just below this video. Well, just kidding, but since I just made you check that, you must, well, while you're at it, go and make that red button gray, and you'll get 10 years of good luck. The channel itself, Caving with Tom, was deleted. Whether by Tom, no one really knows, but the Twitter account wasn't deleted, or at least if it wasn't deleted by Tom, because it was up long enough for people to see the tweets years and years later, and Tom's Twitter account stopped being used the very day before the last video, which was the Kentucky cave video, and before all the weird clips were uploaded. And the last thing that he ever tweeted on Twitter was, "I'm exploring a whole new section I discovered this week. I think it goes deeper than I've ever been before, #excited." So whether he just uploaded all the videos from the clips that he filmed in this cave and he just didn't want to do anything else after that, or he somehow got lost in this cave and was never able to get out, and somehow someone found these clips and posted them as evidence, well, no one will ever really know, because it's entirely not known whatever happened. Next we have... That's great. Well, now what the f am I supposed to do? Even if that's not how you're supposed to pronounce it, this one was definitely something that's a little bit pushing it when it comes to the PG rating. You're not going to exactly find yourself having a pleasant family-friendly time when you watch any of these videos. Now basically this channel started and out of nowhere created this new series on YouTube, which went and basically was uninterrupted for the entire time of this channel's activity, called Mushroom Land. And Mushroom Land was this channel's very creative invention. The entirety of all of the content is just this one person in this video style, which is presented to be 1980s to 90s theme with glitches and VHS type of styling to it, and where there's various activities taking place in every single episode, but every single episode has one general style to it. All of it is in a foreign language, but either way, when transcripted, it is found out to be kind of a tutorial series on how to effectively mind control and brainwash yourself into becoming a purified person. From episode 1, we have just a demonstration of this person doing a very strange activity, and from the very beginning, we could see that the main character in this series has fake eyes taped to their real eyes, which is one leading key factor which goes on to the theory of how this is metaphorical to brainwashing, and more particularly, something called MK Ultra. The entire time this character is on the series, who goes by Agatha as their name, they have these fake eyes taped on. And from watching the first 1 second of any of the episodes, you'll pretty much regret ever being born, to come to the point where you clicked on the video and are now seeing it. And there's heavy symbolism to activities like traumatic brainwashing and MK Ultra, and even the whole thing is thought to be a metaphor to the idea that unless you're part of MK Ultra or you are a brainwashed person, you are somehow demonic, and the only way to get the inherent satanic evil out of you is to relinquish your soul to be brainwashed. And this is demonstrated quite well with the second episode of this channel. And it's not really the most pleasant thing to watch. All the way to episode 4, where it's all about hair. This is connected to the idea that people affected by MK Ultra, or world-changing Illuminati-type quasi-religious theories of mind control things, are somehow affected through their hair, and they lose their hair. And this is also shown in one of the videos on this channel. The main character, who's Agatha, goes from, as mentioned in the first video, having this Satan type of character side to being some purified person, no longer with hair, and being completely under the influence of brainwashing. And the entire series effectively ends there. So it's definitely a pleasant experience. And MK Ultra actually was a real thing that took place, and was an experiment that ended up causing a whole lot of people a whole lot of problems. Mind control is definitely something that's been a stronghold, and something that's been investigated undercover, and not really something that's really been the most sunshine side of things to think about in the world. The only thing objectively known about anything related to this channel is that its creator had plenty of other videos on the channel, which were definitely 100% related to mind control, Satanism, and child abuse. So it's definitely a really cheerful thing. Well, it turns out that the final placeholder for this particular episode is Edward Muscare. Edward Muscare, once again, as best as I can guess to pronounce it, was a TV presenter, actor, television host, and sex offender. And they had a YouTube channel, which was started in 2006. And on this channel, this is where things started to get a little bit unnerving. It's not really the most disturbing aspect of things, but it is more or less something that kinda gets creepy upon realizing the backstory and the real-life context behind all of it. And that's the fact that Edward made a channel in 2006 after being let out on parole for being confirmed or convicted of sex offending. He was very sexually offensive, but that was definitely not the main thing that led up to things being weird. Edward Muscare decided to become this new internet sensation on YouTube inadvertently by making a whole bunch of out-of-the-box lip-syncing style videos to all kinds of songs. One of which being this particular song, which happens to be extremely copyrighted. So unfortunately, you're just going to have to deal with the very pleasant visuals of it.
Bye-bye.
I'm sorry about that, but it really is the only thing that we have the ability of showing. Unfortunately, after Edward started getting successful on YouTube, his account was discovered by the authorities, which case realized that he shouldn't have been doing that because he didn't really have the permission to own a computer after his parole, so he was put back in prison immediately after that. And before he could ever be let back out, he did pass away, leaving behind the legacy of this particular channel called that. And the most widely renowned video being him lip-singing Pretty Woman, a very popular song, which, given the context, as mentioned, doesn't really fit all that well. Also not the most normal-looking person on top of everything else. So, even though not the most mysterious, conspiratorial, or by any means the most dreadful or scary, it certainly is one of the most disturbing. Those were the 3 channels that we're going to cover for today. If you enjoy this series, stay tuned for more, because YouTube Unsolved and other things like that are other things that we do here, and I think that you'd enjoy your stay if you gave this channel a chance at making the red button below this video gray if it isn't already. So come back next time to get your next dose of PTSD and a little bit of MK Ultra, maybe some mind control mixed into the batch. I always try to put in a little bit of variety into each and every one to spice up the flavor, and I know that you like that, so that's why we do it. I'll see you in the next one. My name is Dallas, aka Inferness. Until then, goodbye.
Thank you.